What's up, guys? Nolan here, back on Broken Arrow with the newest open beta. I posted my favorite US decks earlier, and now it's time to move on to Russia. So if you're interested in the United States decks and the new specialization, which is the Airborne, go ahead and check that out. That'll be my most recent video, and if it's live by the time I post this, I'll put the link in the description and the top comment. I have to make it clear, especially now with 3 specs per nation, this is not the only way to go. There are lots of new units, lots of new ideas, options out there. These are just the units that I choose and a little bit of an explanation why. If you want to learn more, you can ask or come by a stream where I can discuss it in real time with you. Link in the description. Otherwise, nice guy on Twitch. Might be streaming over here on YouTube on this channel as well. Now, in my opinion, Russia is very different than the United States this time around. I think there is one deck that stands out above the rest, and it's this one right there, the Armored Marine. Luckily, though, the Marine specialization is the new one, so you get to use some of the new units. I'll go through it quickly so that you can copy it and try it out for yourself if you want. And then I'm going to talk a little bit of extra at the end here. Top to bottom, we got the Recon T90 because armor with view distance. Then we've got 3 BRMs because attackers and 57mm cannon with view distance. The VMF with the anti-material rifles are crazy good against infantry while being sneaky if they want to. So I bring as many as possible of those. The PDSS squads can swim and are also crazy sneaky as well. The BTR 90 packs a punch. I bring a couple of those that are maxed out. Get the sneaky recon behind them and have the other units help push. And that right there is what this deck is great at doing. This is the infantry that I chose because they are the cheapest possible to bring the T15s. These are the best all-around units in the game, in my opinion, these T15s, and I don't think you'll have many others disagree with me on that. I bring 6, and there's room for up to 7, maybe 8, I think, but I'd rather have a little infantry and use these. Usually, the 3 to 4 get the job done. So 4 AGS 40s because they're the cheapest that you can get T15s with, and then 2 Sturmoviki because they're the second cheapest, and even if you don't take the thermobarracks, they are the same, but those thermobarracks are pretty amazing at killing infantry, so it's up to you. 2 Beretti because they're great. Those are the new Special Forces Marines for the Russia spec. And 4 Verba because they're Sherrod against helicopters and something against the planes. So if I need to push and I want to hold some infantry behind, pretty much just put the Beretti and the AGS 40s in there, and then if they're really pushing, the Sturmoviki do a pretty good job. Otherwise, T15s are going to wrap it all up there. Not really necessarily a infantry deck. Moving on to the vehicle tab, the usual suspects here with some new friends. The 2 T90s because APS, and then 2 Armadas because Armadas, but I put the Sprinter ATGM on the Armada. I would rather have speed on the ATGM than top attack. It's also got a bit longer distance. The reason why I want speed is because I can team these up with our new friends, the Chrysanthema, which is hiding behind the Cornets. These things mince armor if they hit, but are paper, so be careful. The BVMs have no APS, but are effective fire support and can take a hit, so usually using them earlier is a bit nicer. Putting one of them maybe with the T15s, the T90s, a bit cheaper. You can get it a bit quicker. Can possibly get the enemies to use their ATGMs and then pop smoke and get out of there instead of your T15s or T90s or Armadas. I've had success with no Armadas and then bringing more BVMs as well, but you need to be careful because, again, no APS, so if they die, then you throw away 265 points. And that is more than what a T15 is worth, which will eat ATGMs and does have APS. Now, again, doesn't have the main cannon, so it's not really effective against other heavy vehicles. Those 57s will do work, don't get me wrong. So there's a bit of leeway here, right? Because the T80 BVMs are 265. The T15s are 250 with the 57s. It's pretty close. You can bring up a lot of these BVMs, but again, they don't have the APS. So there's definitely something to work with there. You guys mess around and you guys let me know. Otherwise, for now, I'm going to be starting with the T90s because they have the APS, and then maybe I'll get a T14 in there because it's a T14. It's super strong. It's got those ATGMs now, and it's got the APS. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys find there if you do a bit of mix and matching. The S300s with the big missiles are the longer range, or the longest range in the game. And when you put them together as a proper integrated air defense system, as these Russians do, they actually are super good. Which they, we could debate about the realism there on that one. I put 2 S300s with the big missiles together on one supply depot. Listen up for a second. That's probably not the smartest, but hey, just listen up. Then have a pantsir facing backwards in front of them, and then 3 to 4 barrel uses in front of that. Important to have the Panzer facing backwards because the gun on this Panzer is facing backwards. So point it in the direction that you think the missiles or just really anything is going to be coming from so that it can intercept those seed missiles that are going for the S-300 or really anything. Sometimes it all goes up in smoke when basically like 2, maybe sometimes 3 F-35s come through, but sometimes it'll sit there all game shooting down planes. These S-300s with the longer ranges, these bigger missiles will one-shot pretty much everything out there. I find it a useful investment of points way more often than not. Be very careful where you decide to place these and you'll do well. If the enemy brought F-35s and are good at killing strong AA and your teammates aren't helping, then just switch to the ground game. This deck is very good at being flexible. If every player on your team brings at least a S-300 and a couple of barrel uses, you'll own the air because they'll end up costing less than the planes that are killing them if they're dying. And if they're not dying, then they're killing planes. It's really good right now. Anyway, I got 3 Duravitsias as well because they're great and no need to micro the radar anymore. 6 Biruses because radar and seed interceptors. 2 DT-30s because crazy supply. 1 Panzer because bye-bye chopper and interception. And then I have 3 Beregs with mixed rounds. Sometimes they do shoot down choppers, so I go mixed just in case they get caught off guard there, but they're great already all the same. The potential for mix and match here is crazy. The Iskanders are strong. The other arty is strong as well. The one thing I wouldn't do is bring the new S-350s. I don't think they're worth the cost at all compared to the flexibility that you get from other units for less. However, if you go no arty, then sticking one of those S-350s along with your S-300s can help intercept for sure. Reminder to have the Panzer facing backwards again because that is where the guns are pointing when static. Very important there if you are going to be putting the points into the Panzer that it's facing the right direction. Now for the choppers, we'll have some debate for sure. Potentially a lot of debate. Now, personally, I go for the Ka-29 and the Mi-38 for transport and supplies. At least the Ka-29 because the DTs are way too slow and your air defense and T-15s need those supplies. They took the trucks away from Russian armored. These are your only options for supply. The DTs, again, are way too slow. Helicopters can get them up there faster and in smaller quantities because the DTs have like 30,000 or something crazy. So K-29, perfect little blop of supplies that you would need for really anything on the front line, or perfect for AA. Mi-38s for a bit more if you want, and it's much, much faster. The debate comes from the Catran now and what you bring with it. I go for the 2 cruise missiles because of their range and ability to soak radar AA, but seed missiles will do that just as well in terms of the radar AA, but it's one trick pony there on that end. The Hermes ATGMs are fantastic while the Attackers are solid too, so really up to you here again with these. I go with the cruise missiles. I shoot them, I rearm them, I shoot them again. That's what I do with those. And then again, that is my Recon chopper because it's the best that you have in the air. You can bring drones, but they're not as good as the Global Hawk and they will get shot down. And you need space for the helicopter. So you really just have the 1 Ka-52 that is your Recon helicopter, and you have the cruise missiles on there too. So really tricky there, especially if you get it shot down. Again, up for debate, but that is what I do. Personally, I just kind of run into things and wait for them to shoot at me with my T-15s or tanks, and then that's kind of how I do my Recon. But you know, up to you guys what you guys want to do there. With the air tab, I go essentially just ASF, or what can be seen as ASF, with the IADs and armor that you can put out there with this deck. They're, especially against the United States, they're going to plane spam you into the ground. So having a couple things up there to help out is useful sometimes. I have seen these exact MiG-29s kill F-15EXs in one pass because of the diverse missiles. I go for the ERs, which are semi-active, 73s, and 77s. For 305 points, it's a lot of boom, but they run out of gas quickly, so keep an eye on them. That is my deck of choice. If I'm being honest, I think it's the most effective in the game when it comes to Russia, but there's a lot of other cool units out there with the Russians, so it's up to you guys. Quick change up here would be the Tu-22 with its Kh-32 cruise missiles. If you team them up with the Ka-52 on the ground, it'll take some luck from the enemy air defense to stop that if you just send it at AA. It's just a lot of points that could be spent on tanks and T-15s. You can also forget trying to go toe-to-toe with them in the air and fill the MiG-29s with cruise missiles as well. Then have room for a solid ground attacker with the Su-30 and rockets. I find the more flexible the deck, the more options you have, the better off you are. However, the thing with this deck is if you have a properly supported armored push, it is very rare that they stop that. I don't think that there is much that a uncoordinated team can do to stop that. A bunch of T-15s, couple of tanks there, you have proper AA, you're gonna roll through. Just make sure you don't run out of APS, smoke properly, again, properly supported. Very rare that that gets stopped as long as you don't overextend. This is all stuff that I've talked about in the past. I have it in my earlier videos from last beta. Same units, same tactics, a little bit of extra spice here and there with some of the new units, but still, T-15s, tanks, roll over them. Good luck. Now pay attention to the air. Don't bunch up too much, and just like last time, the T-15s will get the job done. The other players should know that too by now, though, so let's look out for some other tactics. Lots of infantry. Infantry anti-tank weapons are going to be critting more often, so be careful with that. You don't want to just throw the T-15s up into the face of infantry anymore. Let them do their job from a bit farther away. Get used to figuring out where those ATGMs, especially those javelins, are going to be hitting you from. Either way, this deck will get you started in the right direction. Just remember to give Marine Airborne a shot, especially if you like infantry. And with these larger maps, the cheaper infantry can do more for wider distances, for more map coverage. And then if you have a couple of these units rather than several when it comes to the T-15s and the tanks, you just have to pick a bit of a slimmer area that you're going to push and a little bit less of an area that you're going to push with a little bit less leeway in case you lose some stuff. So mix and match, have a bit of fun with it. If you have any questions, come by a stream, link on the screen and in the description. Leave a like if this helps you out. Otherwise, stay tuned for more. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a nice day. See you guys.